Hello everyone, I'm Major Garrett in Washington. Tonight on the final edition of America Decides. Stop me if you've heard this before. New tariff threats. President Trump warns Apple, the company, that it could face a 25% tariff, and he warns the European Union it could face tariffs of up to 50%. Those threats coming after the president met with Apple CEO Tim Cook earlier this week. The demand, make your iPhones here or pay a pretty stiff price.
Today, we're unpacking a high-stakes power play that's rattling both Wall Street and Silicon Valley. Donald Trump just dropped a bomb, threatening steep tariffs unless Apple brings iPhone production back to American soil. And watching Tim Cook maneuver through this mess, it's a masterclass in supply chain survival.
We have Apple, as you know, it's coming in. And I had a little problem with Tim Cook yesterday. I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. I treated you very good. You're coming in with $500 billion, but now I hear you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India. You can build in India if you want to take care of India, because India is one of the highest tariff nations in the world. It's very hard to sell into India. Tim, I said, Tim, look, we've treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you built in China for years. Now you got to build us. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. They're doing very well. We want you to build here, and they're going to be upping their production in the United States. Apple. So Apple's already in for $500 billion.
Now, you might be thinking, I'm not Apple. I'm not running $1 trillion empire. I agree, and I get it. You're building something lean, fast, and real. But here's the thing. Geopolitics doesn't care how big you are. If you rely on cloud services, offshore manufacturing, or global talent, those same forces can shake your business overnight. Let's break it down. Trump fires off a tweet, 35% tariffs on Apple, then comes the private call to Tim Cook. Hey Tim, forget about that Indian plant. Meanwhile, Apple still has 95% of iPhone production in China, which means Apple is backed into a corner. There are no quick exits for them.
These tariffs are actually going to go into effect at the end of this month. And he also argued that this is what has to happen in order to force Apple to move its production back to the United States. But I asked him why he would want to hurt a U.S. company.
Be also Samsung and anybody that makes that product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair. So anybody that makes that product, and that'll start on, I guess, the end of June.
Founders, here are 3 collision points you need to watch. Number 1, cost versus control. China is unmatched in scale and speed. Shifting to U.S. factories, that's a margin killer.
So basically, Major, what he's trying to do is to pressure Apple to move its production to the U.S. more or less immediately, even though Apple CEO Tim Cook has said time and time again that, first of all, the U.S. simply doesn't have the pool of skilled workers with the particular skills needed to make the iPhone in numbers large enough to be able to make millions of iPhones here in the United States. And outside analysts have estimated that making the iPhone in the U.S., even if that workforce was available, would end up tripling the cost for American customers from, let's say, $1,000 right now up to $3,000 or even $3,500.
Number 2, market optics. If you lean too patriotic, Beijing might retaliate. My advice is to stay silent, and if you don't stay silent, your customers might turn on you. Trust me, startups burn out trying to thread that needle. And number 3, political red lines, firing of one tweet, or a random policy twist. Your product roadmap is toast, especially in an election year. Now let's talk solutions. Hack 1, China plus 1. Smart founders are already shifting 20% of production to Vietnam, India, or Mexico. Call it geostrategic diversification, or just call it insurance. Hack 2, dual narrative comms, 2 press kits, 1 for patriotic investment, 1 for global resilience. Pick your story based on the moment. Hack 3, tariff hedge Treasury. When the headlines heat up, lock in component prices. Turn uncertainty into a margin play. Let's take a look at a couple of companies that know a thing or two about this scenario. Nike, they pivoted to Vietnam early in the trade war, while Intel bet billions on Ohio fabs, different scales, but we see the same strategic instincts. Let's keep it real. Diversifying can strain quality, onshoring squeezes profits, and if you miss the timing window, your brand takes the hit. Here's my advice. Run quarterly war games for your supply chain. Keep your crisis response playbook sharp. All right, founders, what's next? Should we decode Microsoft's EU cloud headache or tackle Starbucks labor showdown? You vote in the poll, drop your take in the comments. And yeah, hit subscribe if you want more Founder First breakdowns, because in today's global market, it's not about avoiding pressure, it's about being ready when it hits.